Here we go. So beginning with a moment to connect, whether we're listening to this later or are logged in live now as a community, which is my favorite thing to happen. But either way, let's just take a moment to where we are, and as we are, perhaps close the eyes to move in a more inward contemplative nature with ourselves. And in that, we acknowledge and come to breath as a way to connect with our mind. Then breathe into the body. And this pause is important, to take a moment to simply breathe and pause. To connect to the inner joy of our breath of this day. To begin with intention and celebration and acknowledgement of this time of year. Allow the image of the sun, Surya, that we are here to celebrate, to bring this image through the mind's eye into your heart, placing the sun into the spiritual heart, breathing in, breathing out, with mind's eye in the center of the spiritual heart. Breathing along the spine. Let your thoughts melt into the heart. Invite the feeling state of the brilliant round ball of fire, the image of the bright sun, breathing it into the heart, allowing the light and the radiation to permeate within. Through inner vision, placement, nyasa, intention, sankalpa, pausing, remembering the soul's light and brilliance. So as we begin the journey, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, clearing the path in this journey as we gather together. Namaste. So, a celebration it is. The summer solstice, as we know, and really is a time that I feel that coming together is really important, yet I know that life happens and we perhaps don't or are not able to plan those comings together. I'm in Albuquerque graduating my 200-hour group. I couldn't even plan a retreat or anything like that unless you're around my hood, and then my celebration is an open house. But none the day, really thinking ahead as to what will be happening and will be doing, and realizing that all the wonderful beings that I know we are definitely not going to be together. So maybe we can be together through this format. And also sharing with you why it is that I get so excited about the summer solstice, and hopefully you do too, hence why you are logging in. So what is the summer solstice? I think that's the most important, next step question for us to ask, right? First, whether you know it or not, or maybe we just have to remember, like me, it's just a remembering that ancestrally we've been worshiping the sun since literally time immemorial. So billions of years, humans and other beings recognized the light and the power of the sun. Even before there was fire, there was sun worship, from the Egyptians building pyramids in honor and ode to the sun, to the beautiful Surya sun pyramid that lives in Mexico, and I'm heading to in August as part of this process that I'm in right now with you guys is making commitments to do things that fill my spirit and soul. So in the Vedic traditions of yoga and Ayurveda, of which I'm deeply steeped in, also we've been worshiping and recognizing the sun and this time of year in one way or another. So what is sort of the bottom line point that I'm trying to make is this is a powerful time. So to kind of continue as life is moving, is kind of missing, right? We're missing something. So this is an opportunity for a lot of us to wake up from the perfunctory, dare I say, robotic type of living that we can get into, and take that moment to really wake up to living life rather than just letting life live you. And this is like really making, I think, also some commitments to really show up for ourselves, because our ancestors did it. So if our ancestors did it, why are we not doing it? Why are we not getting a little bit more serious about it, a little bit more fired up about it? Simply because entire societies were built around the beauty of the sun, the illumination of the sun, everything that the sun brings. And we built all of our wonderful little houses and really disconnected ourselves from this, from this being of light, dare I say. So this isn't some crazy, idea. It isn't even new age thinking. It's not even, fruity tooty, right? Non-scientific. It's completely scientific, and it is also been driving cultures for billions of years. So it's a day of light. That's what it recognizes. And it recognizes it that it's the longest day of the year because we're receiving the most solar radiant light, meaning more than 12 hours of light technically we are receiving on this day. But it's not like there's like little switch, as you guys know who have heard me talk about this before. No one's flipping a switch and all of a sudden, okay, here it is, Friday, June 21st, longest day, and then like tomorrow it gets dark again. We're kind of in a pretty long process. Actually, have some playing around with my papers today, but it's a pretty transitional process where we're in the building phase. So literally starting tomorrow, which is June 7th, we have 15 days until we get to the summer solstice. So this is the microcycle before the peak. And I kind of, if you play with the movement of the sun and the light, basically as it's moving more in the northern direction, you can see that there's like shifts somewhere around 6 weeks. And then the microcycle would be like the 3 weeks, right? Hence these 15 days. So why I picked this date to do this webinar, well, first, a day in between travel, and that was worthy of picking, and rare as that is for June. It is really my activation month, and also because starting tomorrow we are at exactly 15 days into the summer solstice, so it's for real and time to activate, right? So let's wake up together. I'm super in between crazy travel time, but still I'm going to, right, commit to come to this wonderful peak time, June 21st, with awareness and mindfulness, and also sankalpa, right? Intentional living, dharmic reasons of why we're here. So it is a day of light, a day of illumination. It is said that after the summer solstice, then it is the time or the path of darkness, as we know, moving from Uttarayana to Dakshinayana, that's the southern path of the sun, that slowly there's going to be less light. But I understand the teachings. I really, understand all of that. But that does not mean that the day after the summer solstice, it's like, okay, now it's the time of darkness. It's the time to just go in. And no, because it's part of a very slow cycle. So reality is, this is it. We are heading into the time of darkness. It's coming. But right now, let's celebrate light. We have it for a while. And before the darkness comes, we have a whole lot of light that we can celebrate and get working with. Really, if you think about it, there's about 15, 16 weeks between now or the 21st, really, the June 21st into the fall equinox, so we're kind of in that cycle. So in the yogic Ayurvedic tradition, we are, what I know, what really drives me is celebrating the glory of the sun and everything the sun stands for. And these next 15 days, making a dedication to really connect to the sun, as our ancestors saw the sun as a divine being of light, a god, if you will, though not some god that's got strings and manipulating my life and all of that. No, but is a divine light that we can identify with as a way to remind and remember that our essence is light. And as funny as that can sound, my essence is light, but our essence is energy. Whether it's the quantum spark or the Surya spark, but that very essence, that which animates us, that which truly gives my body life, is this sun, which is also known as Surya Devata, right? The divine being of light, which in the world of Vedic astrology, Jyotish, and Veda, because Rig Veda, so many hymns to the sun as Agni Devata, really represents the light of all, which is in ourselves, our soul. So many ways, my argument is that this is a time for us to then also remember we should connect to our soul, soulful living, soulful being, tending and nurturing, to committing to ask the question and delve deep into how do I soulfully connect, right? Literally. And is more than having kumbaya moments of, holding hands and sitting in circles, but it's your inner soul collection. I actually dare you to inwardly connect to the soul, meaning be with yourself, higher self, true self, and not in the company of others, but really being in the place where we quiet everything. There is that moment where we are everything. And that will only happen when we dedicate and commit to whatever it is that literally sparks your soul. And it changes. I can say that for me, over time, my commitments to get into the rawness of my soul can change. Yeah, it changes as I age and continue to move around the great big soul known as the sun. So remembering, right, some of you definitely have this information. Some of you, this is like brand new, but the sun, Surya in Jyotish, which is Vedic astrology, which literally translates to the study of light. Jyoti is light. So Vedic astrology is the study of light, which is a science within this world of yoga and Ayurveda Veda. So he is considered the king of the planetary cabinet. So if there was a cabinet meeting of all the solar stars and beings, he would sit at the head as the king. Of course, we know that the queen is Chandra, even though in Jyotish, funny, oddly enough, Chandra is male, but we're not going to diverge. So he is the king, therefore he, masculine. So the sun definitely does represent a masculine energy, but let's not get caught up, ladies, right? It's not about patriarchal domination in the skies, because they're beyond that. It's just, what do we know masculine energy to be? Well, piercing and penetrating. At the end of the day, the way I see it, it's the masculine aspect of Shakti, because we're talking about representation of something. So the masculine aspect of Shakti is she that is the king. She shows up as the king. Durga to me sometimes shows up that way, right? The center of the Milky Way galaxy, the center of the universe, everything revolves around this ball, this king, as we know it. And again, letting go of any mantra vibration around these labels. But in our chart, it represents the masculine, so it does represent our fatherly figures and our fatherly influences, right? So we can think of Shiva, we can think of Poseidon, I think of Neptune as an ocean lover, sitting steady, solid, strong, courageous, royal, and regal. It is light. It is that which walks in the room and lights up the room. So it will be all of that representation. So it is the summer where we're all showing ourselves a little bit more within where we are. But the sun most importantly rules our soul and rules our light. So in a chart, in a planetary chart, where the sun goes is where our light goes. It's where we are shining upon ourselves. But, you know, these are big picture things, like what do they have to do with the summer solstice? Well, what it has to do with this time of year is, where are you shining your light? It's 2019. Where have you taken your light to? Your thinking, your mind, your intelligence, right? Your courage. It's also our health, right? Illumination of our health. Where have we empowered ourselves and felt in our power in 2019 as we're coming into the summer solstice, which coincidentally is really your activation time. If you were going to go into personal empowerment, courage, seeking the courage to do something this year, to learn something, to step out of your comfort zone. Well, this is it. This is the time of the year, right? So feisty, fiery, and formidable. The sun shines through. It is our time to think about how we have led and what we are leading, how we are inspiring, especially those of you who are in the mental or wellness or Ayurveda or yoga. It is a time to inspire ourselves, and through our own inner inspiration, then we inspire our students and others. Some of us are looking into our own inner self-confidence, and just because you're outwardly in the world doesn't mean that you're extremely self-confident either, right? It's the inner talk, it's your inner belief systems of self-confidence, and I should really put a big S there for soul self-confidence. And to then really, as we are coming into summer solstice, examine, where are your soul connections? Where have they been? Right? Let's take a moment, pause. We are halfway through the year. It's June. Have you made connections that were soulful? Can you take a moment to reflect and remember and write down what were some of your soulful connections? What soulful connections have brought illumination for you so far this year? And will you need more? Can you think of places, events, times that lifted your soul and your spirits so far? What has uplifted you? I am uplifted when, and it makes me feel blank. And oh, I know I need more of this because blank. Spiritual living is not necessarily that I get up every day and sit in front of my altar and, wave my little incense stick around and blah, 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 blah. But what are we really soulfully doing in our living practices? What do we have to commit to really feel down into the cells, right? For me, I can tell you that there's an anticipation as I wait for it to get warm enough in Albuquerque, right, where I live or where I'm visiting, to be able to practice outside. So in Albuquerque, it has to be on my, little deck. But when I was in London, thankfully, where I was staying, there was a little backyard and I could put my feet in the soil and try to coax the sun out of the very heavy London fog sky, in which, he would peek out, she would peek out, and practice and move and connect, right? And listen. And this morning, saying, coming back, landing, traveling, one way I really, and it doesn't happen every day, but I look for moments that it can happen lately, because the time is now. Then it just gets too hot and this and that. It's like, this is the time. So soulful connection is getting myself in nature, putting my bare feet in nature, and really seeing green. And even in Albuquerque, we do have opportunity to see green. Just drive to the East Mountains. Not that hard. But that's important to me. That's my soulful spiritual connection. Sure, I have an altar. Sure, I have some, incense. I can chant lots of mantra. It's all beautiful and soulful. But what is really, truly touching my spirit? What am I doing in my weekly living, right? Because it can't happen every single day. I get that. But wow, 10, 12 days of non-soulful activity, truly soulful activity, not going to go so well for me, right? Because I notice what it does to my psyche, right? And respect and nobility, your vibe, that means a little V-I-B-E, meaning, son, right? Living respectfully and nobly is my vibe. So for me, noble living is important. And what does that look like? And nobility is helping others and those in need. Most noble activity is seva. I don't know a more noble activity than giving to others. So for me is offering inner respect, realizing that there's a lot happening in the world that is really, truly not respectful. And in the light of the sun, really looking at noble living as in protecting and caring for others. So these are the things I'm thinking about in coming to this time of the year. And what I'm offering right now is a little bit of a backdrop to what is coming, if you know me, which is everything needs to be put into practical practice. I can talk about it. I can be very poetic. I love it all. But then there's, right, the side of, okay, well, what are you going to do with this? And how are we going to get into the nitty gritty and activate something? So it's the 15-day countdown. I've already said that. June 7th to June 21st. We got 15 days. So you, me, all of us together, we have 15 days to get it together to celebrate the 21st, right? What are you going to do on the 21st, that Friday? For me, I'm planning events Saturday through our school. But for me, what am I going to do also on Friday as my activation into the summer solstice? And then also forging the next path after that, because between the 21st then comes the vernal fall equinox, autumnal equinox, which is on September 23rd. So I have 15 days wrapping up a cycle, right? And then your next place of contemplation, which I'm not going to get into at this moment, is really to think, okay, 21st to the 23rd of September. That, as far as I'm concerned, for me, is like my final activation moment time. I'm kind of moving inward after the fall equinox. So this is my time to fire things up, which includes what I'm going to be doing with myself this summer and why I plan summer time and activities around it, to not just let the summer pass, but this is the time to really bring illumination into what I'm illuminating here into 2019, right? What I soulfully want to activate and what I'm going to do. So let me offer a little background practices. What are some of the yoga things you can do? Surya mantras. These are the mantras to the sun. I will come back to them and for chanting purposes, so that you do have that opportunity to hear the sounds. But chanting the 12 names of the sun, remember that there are 12 calendar days in the year, which means that the sun literally moves through the 12 constellations in the sky, 12 houses, 12 movements of the sun. So there are 12 aspects of the sun that we should celebrate during the winter solstice. And these are the ancient Sanskrit mantras for the sun. But older than this is the mantra to the sun known as the Gayatri mantra. And the Gayatri mantra comes from the most ancient text, the first book ever written on the planet, the Rig Veda. So in this text, the Rig Veda, which is a Sanskrit text, this mantra is offered. The Gayatri mantra. You can offer this mantra when the sun is on the horizon, meaning sunrise, sunset, high noon, anytime during the day, preferably sunrise, and sunset. And also to be done facing the east direction, though I know you'll face west for the sunset, but sunrise to the east, facing the east, and the east is the direction that belongs to the sun. So if you're looking for light, look to the east, always. Most auspicious direction we have. So the Gayatri mantra, again, I'll come back to it. I think everyone is familiar with Surya Namaskar, the movement of the sun salutation within yoga. So what does that mean? I think sometimes we get fancy with our yoga practices and we forget the basic movements of just simple Surya Namaskar. Why do I say that? Well, I love this time of year facing east and doing 12 rounds of sun Surya Namaskara, meaning prostrating to the sun, offering 12 rounds that my body becomes the sun. My practice is the offering into this sacrificial fire of tapasya, to burn away impurities, chanting the mantra as we move through. This is a bit of an advanced practice. Many of you know this practice. You've done this practice with me. I will be doing this practice on Sunday during our yogini retreat, preparing for the summer solstice with mantra. It is powerful. I was able to offer it last Sunday in London during Ayurfest, which was the Ayurvedic Professional Conference in the UK. And we were in the most glorious, beautiful setting on the English countryside. And well, it was like a gift to be able to offer a community that I know that gets it, this Surya Namaskara Pranam practice with mantra. So this is just the time of year to do these things. Other offerings to think about. Become the sun. Sunflowers represent the sun. So create a sun altar or Suryafy your altar and get yourself some flowers, sunflowers. Yellow flowers could also be daisies and carnations, right? But yellow. So offering yellow flowers, yellow petals, and yellow cloth, red cloth to your sacred space that should hopefully be facing east. Raj is getting worked up and excited about that, by the way. And rubies and carnelians are the stone. So what to wear on Friday? I know it's Venus Day, but definitely, you know, rubies and diamonds, they look nice together. And that's what you want to sort of honor the sun by wearing rubies. Carnelian, which is an orange stone, also helps and has that solar sun energy as well. So does sunstone and some of the metals like pyrite. Wearing yellow and red and being super colorful on the solstice on Friday is a great way to honor the sun. The sun is bright, so be bright and really offer that brightness out into the world. So these are the practical applications. Let me show you a PDF that I created. For you to work with. So I will be sending the PDF to everyone that registered for the call. But now I'm going to resume share in another way. Now you can see me super big. We have to stop that. Okay, here we go. Share. Okay, fantastic. So everyone can see on the screen a PDF worksheet, yeah? And I'm trying to get through this so I can take inquiries and discussions and questions. Yes, okay, thank you. And so solstice rituals, worksheet planning. These are the things that I've been doing with myself, right? So I didn't print out my pretty worksheet. I did this for you guys. But anyway, don't worry, when I get home, I'll be printing it. Right now I'm activation mode next 3 days and getting it together. But I've already figured this out. So question is, Sankalpa, right? We have 15 days. If you want to play along, planning out the next 15 days, we create a Sankalpa of celebrating. I celebrate the glory of the sun, right? This is what we're here to do. As inner divine light. There's nothing external. This is all about our inner practice, inner sadhana, right? So may I learn to shine in. So how would you like to shine through this next 15 days as and through? So what are we invoking that we need to shine upon? And first and foremost, we go to body, mind, and soul, spirit. Love Ayurveda. Ayurveda says life. What is life? Well, let me define life for you. Life is a tripod. Three-pronged tripod is your life. Life is mind, body, and spirit. This is what our life is comprised of. So we all know that Ayurveda guides me on a daily basis. With that guide, Sankalpa can come around the body, the mind, and the soul. So as we look at the body, what are some food sadhanas that you might want to practice for the next 15 days, right? I realize that I'm traveling, so I can control some things and not some things. So I'm going to pick the days where I'm going to do lots of fresh vegetables and fruits and grains. That's all I'm going to do. I'm also dedicating to a morning fast as part as my food regimen as we're coming into all of this solar and activity time. A common practice in, yoga world is fasting. Well, I'm not going to be fasting like all day. There's nothing in my schedule the next 15 days that's going to allow for that, and also doesn't really work for me and my constitution. But I can definitely offer a 16-hour morning fast for a dedication within this practice, and also to honor Agni, which is my inner digestive fire. So these are just ideas that you can think about doing. Some of you might want to do couple days of khichdi. Some of you might want to say fruits only during the day and then a grain at night, things of that nature, right? So, okay, so those are food things that you can query about. Don't see any questions coming in, so I'm plowing along. Yoga. What did you like about the yoga things that we talked about? 12 Surya Namaskars. When can you do them? Maybe some mantra, maybe some Gayatri. Maybe some solar meditations. I don't know what will some of your yoga practices that you can commit to be the next 15 days. And then other activities. Maybe you can commit to getting outside, going on a hike, having soulful connections by doing soulful things, soulful gatherings. Those of you on the East Coast, part of that, we'll be getting together. Why? Because it's the time to have soulful connections with people. So I was more excited about, teaching people before the solstice than after the solstice. After the solstice, I feel like, we should have activated. So here's our time to have those soulful activities and connections coming up. And then putting those seeds in motion, right? Then the mind, what am I going to get into as far as illuminating my mind next 15 days and coming into the solstice? What are things that I can commit to read, to study, to enjoy? Maybe there was a book I started to read and then I, put it down. And so maybe I'm going to set some time aside to get back to reading some of these books. I'll come back. Oh, yes. Okay. So a question came in, which I'll get into. And then, oh my goodness, what else do I want to say about sorry. I can't hide when I'm moving things around. And this, I think, is really important for the mind. I added this in because everyone needs to think about this as nervous system downtime. What are you doing to really give your nervous system a downtime disconnect? This is why I go to Costa Rica, because I need to have nervous system downtime. So I like having time to be in my little surf jungle village and literally not have to drive anywhere. Gosh, I haven't heard a landline phone in a really long time, having been away for so long traveling. Anyway, so what are you doing to give yourself nervous system downtime? So this means no iPhone, no phone, ringing, not plugging into a podcast. That's not nervous system downtime. It's actually sensory withdrawal, using your senses less. In yoga, we call it pratyahara. Really important that you get that in and do it. And I consider that as mindful mind practices. I'll get to questions in a second. And then your soulful sankalpa dedication, right? What does that mean? How do I'm going to put this into my practical application? The things that I'm thinking about is soul and heart living connection. And where or what connects me to the world as one? What are the things that I do, right? I need to thinking about where do I go, and I really feel the oneness, right? That I can see at the heart level, not at my eye level, not at my head level, but we are soul to soul, heart to heart. Filters can melt away, right? What am I doing that offers that for me? And activation, vacation time, sacred time. So the soul connections is also really looking at your whole summer, right? What do you, when you look at the next 15 days, that's also a time for you to be like, okay, what am I going to do in July? What am I going to do in August? Are you just going to let the entire summer just go by? Or are you going to make a commitment to yourself to really engage in soulful activation time? And family vacations are wonderful, but is there self time, right? I know I've gone on amazing vacations with my families, but I've gone on significant, amazing vacations with my beloved. Well, not my, I don't have a beloved at the moment, but I'm saying like, well, all of my professional dating beloveds that I've had, great vacations, they're awesome, but I'm not so, you know, and they were soulful in many ways, but some me time, soulful time in sacred space, there's nothing like it, and highly encourage it, especially for women who are continuously giving and caring in the world. You have got to really get some yogini, shakti, power, soulful activation time for yourself, right? So these are the 6 to next 8 weeks that we're activating. 2019 is coming alive now, and what is the living, you know, dharmic path that we're on. And so this is, now I have to share, hold on. Here we go. Here's the next piece. Transfer all of that into whatever this worksheet here. And I just sat down and looked at the next 15 days. Right here are my next 15 days. And in looking at them, I'm just creating my worksheet of what I'm going to be able to commit to. When can I do Gayatri? When can I do Surya Namaskar? Which are the days that I can fully observe the food practices given my schedule? Where are little pockets of time that I can actually commit to read, that it isn't, oh, I'm just going to read right before going to bed, but that moment that it is about mental stimulation, not just some bedtime reading. So really taking the squares and then putting them into your day-to-day world. That is what I feel is going to be most important in coming to our next moments of time. So now time for questions, as I've laid it all out. What fasting approach is not recommended in the summer heat? So in the summer, we technically is considered a peak time. So within Ayurveda, we're holding steady. It's not a dietary time to get into extremes, which fasting is an extreme. It's a cleanse of sorts. However, depending on someone's constitution, fasting one day out of the month can be appropriate and good. Fasting one day of the week for others can be appropriate and good. My personal constitution, my high activity level, my age, all of those things for me, I haven't even found a place where fasting once a month is even that appropriate for me. But, you know, I also do engage in panchakarma, like detoxification practices. So I find for my Agni, really having some steady dietary practices that definitely, it's not a sterile bubble. I just, you know, traveled and flew about 12 hours, and, you know, I have to eat airplane food and airport food, or, you know, luckily where I go, where I travel to places, most of the time, I have access to pretty good food. But, you know, everyone has a different situation. So summer heat at the end of the day is that a fasting approach, not highly recommended. Some early morning, we could say, morning fasting could be appropriate. For others, it could be evening fasting, though I find in the summer, for most of us, when the summer goes down, the sun goes down, we are super hungry. So, yeah, hopefully that answered that question. Somebody want to ask a question, like unmute and go live. You can do that. Hold on, I'm going to participants. Yeah. And I don't, is there a hand up somewhere? I don't see a chat. I could have. Okay, any questions coming in over the chat, or anyone want to unmute and ask a question? Because we will end with the chanting. So those not familiar with it have a recording. So no one, no questions, nothing. I can't believe it. There's so many of you signed in. We're speaking. Okay. Well, hopefully this made sense and offered some insight as to where we want to go and where we should be heading and where we want to be in the next 15 days, and what you would like to commit to and offer out. So as a reminder, we have the Surya mantras, and then we'll end with the Gayatri mantra together. And in between those two mantras, there may be a question that pops in, and I'll be happy to address it. So our Surya mantras to be offered out: Om Mitreya Namaha. So Om Mitreya Namaha. And we have Ravaye. Om Ravaye Namaha. Suraya. Om Suraya Namaha. Banave. Om Banave Namaha. Kagaya. Om Kagaya Namaha. Pushne. Om Pushne Namaha. Then Hiranya Garbhaya. Om Hiranyagarbhaya Namaha. Marichaye. Om Marichaye Namaha. Adityaya. Om Adityaya Namaha. Savitre. Om Savitre Namaha. Om Arkaya Namaha. And Bhaskaraya. Om Bhaskaraya Namaha. So 12 Surya Namaskars, you begin. Om Mitreya Namaha. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, bending forward. You move through the whole cycle. When you finish, Om Mitreya Namaha, and you pause, and that's one round. Then you begin the second round. Om Ravaye Namaha, and then you inhale and begin. It's a really beautiful, meditative, powerful practice. Great to do as a collective. It's a great alternative to the 108 that's offered out in the world. Very accessible. Chanting 12 rounds of Gayatri, chanting 108 rounds of Gayatri, right? 3, 12, 108. So we have a mantra for the sun, Om Sum Suraya Namaha. That's easy to do as a japa, Om Sum Suraya Namaha, Om Sum Suraya Namaha. And of course we have the Gayatri mantra, Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yonat Prachodayat. So Gayatri is beautiful, my favorite. In the morning when I walk Raja, just letting the light, hit my face, walking towards the east, and just chanting, just chanting. Another soulful connection, just that moment of remembering. No, I'm not chanting the entire 30 minutes I'm walking a Raja, but just those brief moments that I get that in is good. And I think as many brief moments in the collective that I can get in, the better. So that concludes my time. I will put all of this together into a PDF package to send to you. Likely it's going to have to be a link because of the masses. I have 100 of you registered, so it's just going to be a Dropbox link to access these things because sending an email with attachments I think is going to prove slightly complicated. So that's what's coming your way as soon as everything gets processed within the next 24 hours. So thank you so much. It warms my heart that so many of you did register. Those of you who could be live, loved seeing all of you, and hope to see you guys somewhere before the end of the year. Claudia and Bina and Anne, let's see, Edita, I'll be seeing you. Kelly, I'll see you this weekend. Kim, I'll see you this weekend. Kelsey, I haven't seen you for a while. And well, some of you I've already talked to that I won't be able to see. And maybe Scott, I might see you in Pennsylvania. Always good to have our Krishna on the call. So infinite blessings, radiant blessings. May all the illumination that is within your reach be there for you. So infinite ahas and blessings and light. Namaste.